Doctor Strange was, it is Doctor Strange 2. We will call it Doctor Strange 2, the Multiverse of Madness. I have my opinions, and it's your boy Icon with some Marvel TV, some Marvel movie reviews. And we are talking about Doctor Strange, the new Doctor Strange movie. And there's a lot to be said here because I am completely justified in all of my previous rants, but we'll get to that in the end. But for now, let's talk about the movie and Mr. Stephen Strange. So, in this particular movie, it's Stephen Strange from a different universe. He's running with some random girl. And the girl, apparently has power. And then they're running from a monster. He's trying to get a book. And the girl, they find the book, and then the girl's just like, oh, what are we going to do? And then he was like, sorry, he ends up using his magic to make her still. And he said that he's going to take her power from her because she doesn't know what to do with it, and she can't control the book anyway. And the power is best suited in his hands. And then, something ended up happening. She ended up using her power again. She created the star pattern, and then he got killed. Well, the monster stabbed him in the chest, and he died. And then she fell through the star pattern and landed on the particular Earth that we live on now. So she bumps into our Stephen Strange. The monster came out too. And then when Stephen Strange sees the monster, him and the Asian Sorcerer Supreme, they fight the monster. The girl is there. They kill the monster. They're talking to the girl. And the moment I saw the girl and I saw that she was wearing the jean jacket with the American flag on it, and then I saw the star on the back of her jacket, I started I immediately started thinking to myself, I was like, is that Americana, the Spanish girl with the super strength and the American thing? But then I was just like, no, that can't be her, because for me personally, the only thing about the character that I do know is based on the Marvel Rising cartoon series. I watched the Marvel Rising cartoon series, and that's how I'm aware of this character. So this could be true, this could not be true, but I was just like, wait, I don't remember her having magic powers. So I was like, that can't be her. But I was like, but that jacket and everything. And then there was a motorcycle, because I remember the girl in the Marvel Rising, she rode a motorcycle. And then there was a motorcycle that got knocked into a building. And when I saw the motorcycle, and then when I saw her with the jacket, I was like, that's her, that's America. And then she said her name, and then she was like, America. I was used to her being a little bit more built, because of the Marvel Rising show, but I was just like, okay, we're going with this. And it was nice to see a familiar character introduced, not like they just made up some random character and just threw it in there. This is actually a character from comic book lore. So I was like, all right, we're gonna go with this. And the fact that she has magical multiversal powers now, whatever. So, but they said that she does have the power to be able to travel through. That's her superpower. Her superpower is she can travel through multiple universes. And there's nothing about the explanation of the multiverse that was a surprise to me, because I watch DC TV, and if you watch The Flash, and if you watch Legends of Tomorrow, and if you watch the CW DC Crisis crossover, you basically know everything there is to know about the multiverse. So, but she said that she can travel between, back and forth between different multiverses. And that's how she lost her parents. She had two mamas. And, when she used her power for the first time because she saw a bee, she created the star vortex, and then her parents got sucked through. So they're somewhere on a different Earth somewhere. She just got to find him, but she's talking to Doctor Strange, and then they're just like, Doctor Strange, he was talking to the Sorcerer Supreme. And then he said that, there are evil beings that are after this girl. And we need to try to help this girl out. But then they said that her, the power, it doesn't really derive from their type of magic. It's more like witchcraft. So then that's when Doctor Strange said, he was like, well, if we're dealing with witchcraft, what better way to deal with witchcraft than to get an actual witch? And here's where I started rolling my eyes, because you all know, I was very 50-50 on the WandaVision television show. It wasn't the best for me, and I was kind of down on it. It had its moments, but I wasn't really high. But the one thing about WandaVision that I hated the fact that at the end of the series, although Wanda, being the villain of her own TV series, trapped all those people in New Jersey and trapped all of them in a mind prison and made them do her evil bidding just to mask her grief, it always bothered me that she got away with it and never actually had to pay the price. And, and I was going around saying that Wanda was the villain, because even when she unmind trapped everybody, from the thing, and she goes back to the townspeople were looking at her like, oh, that's the woman that trapped us and kept our kids locked up and everything. And she never apologized. Like, she didn't say sorry. She didn't apologize to anybody in the town. She just threw her hoodie on and then she flew off and she ran away. So I was just like, well, fuck Wanda. You know, like, that's when I turned on Wanda, because I was like, she's the bad guy. And then in this movie, she's standing in the forest. She's like clipping flowers and everything. And then Strange shows up and he's asking him to help her, as far as like saving the girl or whatever. And then, she was just like, oh, I don't do that anymore. She's like, I don't do magic anymore. And then he was just like, oh, but I need your help, whatever. And then she accidentally said the girl's name. And then when she said the name, that's when Strange knew. He was like, hold up. He's like, I never told you her name. And then that's when the illusions was gone. Because at the end of the WandaVision, she also had her hands on the Darkhold. And she was using the Darkhold. And then you heard her kids call out to her. And that's how her show ended. She had the Darkhold. She took the illusion down. And she let it be revealed that she has been powering up using the Darkhold, and she's been searching the multiverse, trying to find different versions of the kids that she created in her WandaVision. But then Doctor Strange even said to her, he was like, listen, he was like, first of all, your kids aren't even real. He said that you're pining over something that didn't even exist. And she said, but I'll go through the multiverse and I'll find someone else's kids and I'll have them as my own. And I'm just like, this bitch is the villain. Like, and then there's just like, wow, like Wanda actually was the villain. Like, Wanda is the villain of Doctor Strange too. So I was just like, that's when I was just like, okay, I can get on board with this, because it always bothered me that she was basically the villain but never got recognized for it. But in this, she was full-blown 100% grade A villainy. So like I was like, all right, so we doing this. So now, and then she told Strange, she was like, hand over the girl, because she said, I'm going to take the girl's power, just like the original Strange did. She said, I'm going to take the girl's power and I'm going to use her power for my own, and I'm going to use it to travel the multiverse and find multiverse versions of my kids. And then Strange even said to her, he said, but when you find those kids, what are you going to do when you bump into their mom? And then she never answered that, but we all know what's going down, like in that regard. So then after that, now it's a standoff, because Wanda and Doctor Strange, like Doctor Strange is trying to protect the girl, Wanda's trying to get the girl, and then like this whole big fight happens. She kills like every sorcerer that that she, and I was like giddy the whole time, because I was just like, yo, this chick is like full blown like villain mode. Like, she lived long enough to see herself become the villain, and she killing people. It's like, as an Avenger, you can't go back now. Like, I don't want to see her on the Avengers, like after this. Like, you're not a hero. Because Strange even joked about it. He was like, yo, we'll help get you back on the lunchbox. You can't get back on the lunchbox now. Like, your card, your Avengers card has officially been revoked. And Sam Wilson, who's the new Captain America, he better not let her white ass back on this team. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, so now, while Doctor Strange is trying to protect the girl, both he and the girl ended up going through the multiverse. And that's another thing. They sitting there, I watched this Spider-Man Far From Home movie. They did this whole silly thing about having Doctor Strange erase Spider-Man's memory, saying, well, not Spider-Man's memory, but they did this whole thing with Doctor Strange erasing everyone's memory so nobody knows that he was ever Spider-Man. So this way Spider-Man doesn't exist. And after the spell went through, nobody's supposed to know who Peter Parker is. Nobody's supposed to know Spider-Man exists. And his name was just supposed to be like a gush in the wind. I thought that was the plan. Here, when Doctor Strange was talking to to America about the whole multiverse situation, and then he was just like, he had brought up the Avengers or whatever. He was like, don't you have Avengers? And she was like, what are those? And he was like, don't you have a Spider-Man? And she was like, what's a Spider-Man? And then he was like, the kid with the web powers. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, I thought we aren't supposed to know who Spider-Man is. How did that happen? I'm like, y'all just went back on your own. This is why I got problems with the Spider-Man movie. But anyway, so now Doctor Strange and the girl, they're on a different Earth, and they're just walking around where like green means go, and green means stop and red means go. Doctor Strange was just like, well, in order for us to get out of here, we need to go to the Doctor Strange of this world. They go to Doctor Strange's house, and instead of a Stephen Strange being there, it ended up being the black dude from the first Doctor Strange movie. He actually became the Sorcerer Supreme. And there was a statue out front of the house that said that Doctor Strange had died saving the world from Thanos. So the black dude, so he goes in. Doctor Strange was like kind of like, he was a little like on guard with him, because he knows like on his Earth the two of them are enemies. But on this Earth, like, like he embraced him, he hugged him. He's like, you're my brother and everything. And then they brought him into the house. He drugged both of them, and then he locked America up in a cage. They put the handcuffs on Doctor Strange, and then he was like, I knew you betrayed me. But then he had brought him to the quote unquote council, because on his Earth, he band together with a specific group of superpowered people, and they've become the team, I guess the council or whatever, that protects their worlds from outer world threats and alien threats. And then he brought Doctor Strange to appear before the council, and this was kind of cool because when he brought him to appear before the council members included the black dude who was, the Sorcerer Supreme, like the enemy from Doctor Strange, where he was the Sorcerer Supreme. It included Reed Richards from the Fantastic Four. So that's an Easter egg of a potential Fantastic Four movie. It included Peggy Carter, Captain UK, Captain Carter. And that was dope if you watch the Marvel What If to see Captain Carter. And it also, it included Monica Rambeau's mama, because on our Earth, Monica Rambeau's mother, she died of cancer. And then Monica, took over in her mama place. I guess on their Earth, she's the one that got the superpowers instead of Carol. So Monica Rambeau's mama, she she's on the council. And then they bring in Charles Xavier from the X-Men. And I was just like, wow, that was pretty cool. And not only was it Charles Xavier, it was like the original, it was like the original Charles Xavier from like the original X-Men movie. And he still had the gold thing and everything. That was cool. Like, I'll give him that. I mean, we're not getting anything X-Men related, going forward with Marvel, but to see him in that role, to see him in the chair, like that was pretty cool. And then, and then after that, like Wanda had found them and then she made it to their Earth. And then they told her, they was just like, Strange, like dead ass told him, he was like, yo, yeah, I can't stop her. But of course, because they're the council and because they protected the world from Thanos and everything, like they didn't listen to him, and because they also find out the reason why they beat Thanos was because their Doctor Strange used the Darkhold and he was corrupted with power, that he himself eventually became the bad guy because of all the power that he consumed. So they ended up killing him. Oh, and Black Bolt was there from the Inhumans. Like Black Bolt, well, he had a seat at the table as well. Black Bolt was the one who actually killed Doctor Strange on their Earth when he opened his mouth and he was like, I'm sorry, and then he blew in the dust. So then, but then now that Wanda's here, they said the heroes, they were just like, oh, we can take down your little witch and blah, blah, blah. And then Doctor Strange is like, y'all know what y'all doing. And then they go out to try to fight Wanda. Wanda ended up finding a doppelganger version of herself who did have power on another world. She controlled that person and she mind controlled them and sent that person after the girl and after Doctor Strange. Now, when she sent the other version of herself after the girl, she put that woman through hell. Like that woman was basically, because Wanda was basically just sitting back in the cut and she was using her mind power to control her. But that woman was getting beat up. She was getting punched in the face. She was getting buildings dropped on her. Like everything under the sun was happening to her. And I was just like, I thought Wanda was doing that on purpose to kill that version of Wanda that she was controlling. Because once she was dead, I felt that Wanda was going to snatch up her kids because she had children. But it didn't turn out to be that way. So then Wanda, she fought the council, the Illuminati, whatever. She killed Black Bolt because she sewed his mouth shut, and then his dumb ass tried to say something. He blew out his own brains. She killed Monica Rambeau's mama because she dropped the building on her. She basically cut Peggy in half with her own damn shield. And Charles got into her mind. She got into Charles' mind, and she snapped Charles' neck in his mind, which broke his neck in real life, so he was done. And then Doctor Strange ended up fighting his, like the black dude. He fought his former best friend, the black dude. He got the better of him, and then he went after America. He got America out of the whole thing, and then now like this big fight scene takes place. But then the girl that Doctor Strange had loved in the first movie, we saw her in the beginning of the film where, because the two of them never got together, but then she eventually met somebody else and then she remarried. He found the doppelganger version of her who was actually working for the Illuminati Council, and she lost her Doctor Strange. So because her Doctor Strange was there, like the two of them kind of like clicked up a little bit, she was telling him all the mistakes that her Doctor Strange made or whatever, but she was the one that had America trapped in the cage. So then when Wanda came after them, she tried to protect America, but then Doctor Strange and and the redhead girl, I forgot her name, the two of them ended up getting sucked into a into like a multiversal vortex, and they ended up on another Earth that had a Doctor Strange on it that was basically corrupted by the Darkhold. Meanwhile, Wanda is back on the Earth with the Illuminati, and she's trying to get to America. So, but Doctor Strange, he had a conversation with the Doctor Strange with the Darkhold. He basically had the third eye on his head, and he was the one that turned evil. I'm not sure if that was the one from Marvel's What If or not. Because I think the one from What If did have the third eye, but that one, he wiped out his entire universe, and his Earth was still standing, so I don't think that was him. But Doctor Strange confronted him. The two of them got into it. They got into a fight. Our Doctor Strange took took the Darkhold from him and then knocked him off of a roof, and then he killed him. After he killed him, he tried to use the book. He used the book to connect himself to the original, because in the beginning of the movie, when I said there was an evil Doctor Strange that tried to kill the girl, his dead body was laying on our Earth. Doctor Strange ended up projecting his spirit into that dead body, and he used that dead body along with like the ghost, the Grim Reaper ghost, and to use them to go after Wanda. So then, so he's using like the Grim Reaper ghost to fight Wanda. Wanda's using the other version that she's controlling to fight back, putting that poor woman through all that hell. And then America, like, she's trapped on the table. And then Doctor Strange, like, he went over to her and he said, listen, because everybody kept telling Doctor Strange, like, throughout the whole film, it was like, oh, I got to take this girl's power. Wanda was like, I got to take this girl's power. They was just like, oh, the only way to save everybody, we got to take this girl's power. The Sorcerer Supreme Asian guy, he was like, you got to take her power. And then the girl in America, she was just like, I understand what's happening. You have to take my power. And then Doctor Strange was like, no, because everybody kept telling him throughout the course of the whole film, all you strangers, you just want power, power, power. And that's when he was just like, nah, he's like, I'm not going to take her power. He said, me taking her power, which would kill her, by the way, he said, that's not the way to defeat this threat. He said, we're not going to defeat this threat by taking her power. We're going to defeat Wanda by you controlling your own damn power and you fighting Wanda. And then he gave her like, the rah-rah speech. She got off the table. She tried to fight Wanda. Now, obviously, she's like 17 or something like that, so she ain't got the hands to take on Wanda. Wanda beat that ass. But the girl was smart enough to be able to know how to get, she used her brains instead of brawn. And the girl had figured out that the only way for her to get control and the only way for her to stop Wanda was to give Wanda what she wanted. So she opened the portal to the universe that had the Wanda that she was controlling. And then when the kids saw the Scarlet Witch, because when she saw them, she saw that, like, she basically took the mom and she threw the mom across the room. And then she walked up to the kids and then she was just like, oh, give me a hug. And the kids were like, hell no. There's like this scary ass lady with this red costume and these red horns with your eyes glowing and everything, like they were afraid of her. And then she was like, I would never hurt you. But she was like, but you hurt our mom. And then, you know what I'm saying? And then she was just like, oh, but I'm your mom. And it's like, you're not my mom. It's like, my mom's laid out on the floor because you just beat her ass. And like the kids were like legitimately in fear. And then that's when like the light bulb went off in Wanda's head when she realized she was like, shit, I'm the bad guy. And I was like, well, no shit. Like that was the moment where like, she felt bad. And then seeing the fear in the eyes of the kids that she so desperately coveted, that got to her, like it broke her to an extent. And then, she can't. I'm still on this. I'm still on the train of you can't come back from that. It was enough for her to to have remorse and repent, and she put everything back to normal. And then she even she apologized. But did she apologize? Did she apologize this time? I don't remember if she apologized or not. But I said. But after she felt bad, she stopped trying to kill the girl. She probably didn't apologize. But she did tell Doctor Strange. She said that she'll make sure that nobody ever gets their hands on the Darkhold again. And she ended up destroying every Darkhold across the multiverse. And then like the building that she was in imploded. And then we never saw Wanda again. And then America had opened up a portal back to Doctor Strange's Earth. The girl that he liked, like his love interest, she didn't go with him obviously because she got her own world with her own people on it. Well, the council's dead now, so I guess it's just her and the black dude because everybody else is gone. But Doctor Strange, he went back to his Earth, but he brought America with him because we all know that America's going to be part of the Young Avengers when they eventually do the Young Avengers. But she was training with the Sorcerer Supremes and all that and everything. And then after that, she told Doctor Strange that she was glad that she found a home on his universe, and he was like, me too. And then Doctor Strange went home, and then Charlize Theron came out of a portal, and then she was just like, oh, are you afraid to help me, with some stuff and some magical mumbo jumbo? And then he was like, I'll follow you. And then they jumped in the portal. And that's basically how the movie ended. And thank you for tuning in. So, here's my thing. The movie, it was a good movie. Like, I'm definitely not going to say it was trash. But I'm ecstatic over the fact that Wanda has finally embraced her villainism. And WandaVision wasn't for nothing. Because I was not a fan of WandaVision. But to see her actually make the transition to be the bad guy, I was all for it. Now, I'm going to say this. The movie was a good movie. The movie wasn't bad. However, it didn't feel like a movie blockbuster like special event. Like honestly, I could have watched it on Disney Plus. And even then, although it was super, anytime I can see, and like Haley Atwell reprised her role as Peggy Carter, because I love me some Peggy Carter. To see her like was dope. To see Charles Xavier was dope. To see it like, but then it's like, but with that being said, we're traveling through the multiverse. Where are the other Avengers? Where are the other actors? There was no Falcon. There was no Tony Stark. And I know we're not gonna get these characters based on like contracts, because you'd have to pay these actors, you know, to make appearances, whatever. But then it's like, if you're not gonna have them appear, it shortchanges the whole purpose of you doing a multiverse. It's like why travel to 50 different Earths if we only get to see like the same 3 characters? It's like we went to all these different Earths and all I saw was another Doctor Strange. Like, and his redheaded girlfriend. Like, there was nothing about it that was like, because I didn't see it when it came out. Like, there was nothing about it that was worth me breaking my neck to go down to the theater. But with that being said, it was still a good film and I did enjoy it. And also, it didn't do anything as far as like advancing like the plot, like the Marvel plot forward, like the Marvel phase plot moving forward. So it's like, now in the grander scheme of wherever, because we already know they're headed to Young Avengers, but in the grand scheme of where Marvel's headed, now what? I mean, because Charlize Theron showed up or whatever, we have insight into Doctor Strange 3. But as far as like the overall Marvel plan goes, there was like nothing. Like, there was really nothing. So it's like I said, it was just like, okay, the movie was cool, but again, like, y'all could have put that on Disney Plus and that would have been good either way. But share your questions, your thoughts, and your comments down below. What did you think of Doctor Strange and or the multiverse? Were you happy? Were you sad? Did you like the fact that Wanda was the bad guy? Because I sure did. You know, like, share your thoughts down below. Hit the comment section. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already, because we still got other things popping up on the channel. We got Moonknight coming up. You know, we got the season finale of Moonknight coming up on the channel. We got Superman and Lois, we got Naomi, you know, we got the Flash and everything for all you DC fans. We still got that Young Justice. Check out the Otakus Geeks Podcast with myself, Sean, Justin, and Gotham Geek Girl Nadya, where we talk about all things comic book, geek, superhero related, etc. Great podcast. Check it out. Link will definitely be in the description. Check me out on Twitter. Check me out on Instagram. Hit the notification bell, like I said. And I said, share your thoughts. Like, you know, if you didn't like it, you didn't like it. Like, don't be afraid to say you hated a Marvel property. It's not that serious. And like, keep the conversation going, and we will talk about it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. So until next time, for some more superhero, whether DC or Marvel movie reviews, take care. And to everybody out there, keep it locked in the multiverse, because I'm out this bitch.